Geothermal energy explained. A geothermal power plant works like any other. It uses steam to spin a turbine that powers a generator, but instead of burning coal or natural gas, geothermal power plants use superheated water from below the Earth's surface to create steam. Then the water is pumped into a cooling station, where the water is pumped back into the Earth. No country on Earth utilizes geothermal energy better than Iceland. Iceland should be called Greenland because it is the most energy-efficient country in the world. Nearly 85% of the country's electricity is created by geothermal power plants. This is due to the geological position of the tiny island nation. Iceland lies on the fault line between the Atlantic and Pacific plates. Geysers and waterspouts are extremely common. Here at the Sustainability Center, we use a geothermal heat pump to warm and cool the building. A fluid is pumped through the coils in the pond outside. The water in the pond stays between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit year-round. Heat is exchanged between the pond and the building's air. The building's temperature is increased or decreased as needed. It is truly amazing to think the answer to high heating and cooling bills could be right under our feet. Thank you very much for watching.
Garden is where people from a neighborhood come together to do gardening, and it's usually always vegetable gardening, though on a couple of rare occasions it might be that they want ambient space where they can sit down and enjoy green spaces in an otherwise just full of houses and concrete. We don't make that decision. The people who want the community garden do. They come to us and say that they have found a lot that they think that they can grow in, and they would like to turn it into a community garden, and then we sit down and go through the steps with them on what it would take to become a community garden. The costs are their own though, in order to create the garden. Parkway Partners usually provides liability insurance. We also provide seeds that they can grow, like all the seeds that are in this greenhouse came from seed packets that we had inside that we give to people. Well, New Orleans has 3 very good growing seasons and then one that's not so good. And the one that's not so good is in the summertime because the heat is the hardest thing for the plants to have a rough time to go through. But hardly any other place on earth has 3 growing seasons like we do. In New Orleans, we get our soils ready in August so that we can put in the vegetable garden in September, and then September all the way through to May, it's great growing here. So they can grow anything. They can grow the vegetables, or they can grow the flowers, or they can, it's tough to come up with the zones when in other places where you can grow lettuces like these are right here. We have 45 of them. I think that's pretty successful. Community gardening is a favorite in New Orleans, but what happens is the more valuable the neighborhood is, the less likely there will be a community garden, because people will turn that into structures instead of into green space. Well, you contact Parkway Partners. You can email us. Go to our website and email us at parkwaypartnersnola.org, or you can just call us at 504-620-2224. But we only work with gardens in Orleans Parish.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the Southeastern Sustainability Center. You are here today because you want to know what is biomass power. Well, I will tell you. Biomass power is whenever you take the mass of living things like this beautiful tree and use it to create electricity. Cavemen discovered biomass power whenever they first figured out how to set wood on fire. It's been around for that long. So anytime you've ever been around a campfire, you have enjoyed the energy from a biomass fuel source. Biomass also refers to fuels derived from animal products like fats or other excretions, but we're not going to talk about that right now. The fuel that Southeastern uses is a little bit cleaner. They are pellets made from wood waste collected from around campus. The wood is processed into pellets to make the wood easier to store because nobody likes having a lot of logs laying around. The quote-unquote easiest way to get energy out of these pellets is by burning them, but this method is not carbon neutral and requires a lot of fuel to create just a little tiny bit of energy. So Southeastern is looking at another way called pyrolysis. This process breaks down the wood using high heat but without fire. The basic idea is taking wood and turning it into charcoal but without burning it. It's like toasting it until all the gases are released. Like hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe and also happens to be a very viable energy source. It powers planes, trains, automobiles, and even buildings, and even our sun, which is where all the energy on our planet comes from anyway. So I guess you could say it kind of has come full circle. Anyway, that's my spiel on biomass. I hope you found it informative. Thank you so much for visiting the Sustainability Center.